Hello, televiewers. This is Prime News on my Major Prime. Thanks for being a part of today's edition of Prime News live from Douala. My name is Genda Peldrine Blanche King. Death of former general manager of the State Broadcasting Service, Gervais Mendoza, announced on the 9th of April 2021 has brought sympathy for many who hold on to his active memories before his arrest and last days at the Kondenge Central Prison. In the report that follows, Nora Kakibi talks about his life and death.
Born on 25th December 1944 in Nkong Mekak in Sang Malema, Professor Gervais Mendoza lived for 77 years, and on Friday, April 9th, he died in Yaoundé after suffering from a prolonged illness. It should be noted that his death comes barely a few days after President Paul Biya ordered his release from the Nkodengi Central Prison, where he was serving a sentence of embezzlement while at the head of the state-owned media. Professor Gervais Mendoza was an associate professor of French linguistics and stylistics who joined the teaching staff of the Faculty of Arts in Yaoundé in 1974 when he was not up to 30 years old. He later served as CRTV's Director General from 1988 to 2005, and that same year he was Minister Delegate to the Minister of Communication with no assigned duties. 2 years later, Mendoza was sent packing in a minor cabinet shake-up by President Paul Biya. Arrested in November 2014 after he was sacked from the cabinet as Minister Delegate to the Minister of Communication, the late professor was later prosecuted for several issues, which included fraudulent exorbitant transport allowances, which amounted to 39 million CFA francs, and television tax money. The late Gervais Mendoza was also charged with misappropriation of 360 million CFA francs, constituting part of his running costs of the state-owned budget. The Supreme State Audit found him guilty of 13 management errors. Cameroonians will sure remember the late professor as a prolific singer and author of the famous La Voix du Cénacle.
Within 2 years, Cameroon has lost a number of persons considered by many as witnesses of Cameroon history. The following report pays tribute to some patriots of the country. Cameroon is going through what most people term generational shift. Many think it is rather unfortunate custodians of our history are answering nature's call at a time when the country is at crossroads, hoping for Moses to lead the country back to its peaceful state. After Molanjoli Tumbe, His Eminence Christian Cardinal Tumi, Fon Victor Esimisongo Mukete, Supreme Leader of the Bafour people, has answered death call at the age of 102 at the Yaoundé Central Hospital after a prolonged illness. After building a political life and base in Nigeria before the reunification of Cameroon, Fon V.E. Mukete became the chairman of Cameroon Development Corporation (CDC) from 1960 to 1982, when he was sworn into the Cameroon National Assembly as a judge at the Court of Impeachment. He later became a member of the Economic and Social Council and vice president of the Cameroon Chamber of Commerce, Mines, Industry and Crafts. He was the oldest member of the Cameroonian Senate, born on November 15, 1918 and died on April 10, 2021. The involvement of the three mentioned individuals in the political and historic manifestation of events in Cameroon gave birth to an informative era, according to many, with ready knowledge for consumption. Their absence will be felt by many who use them as a referral point. May 26, 2020, Molanjoli Tumbe was declared dead. April 3, 2021, His Eminence Christian Cardinal Tumi was declared dead. April 10, 2021, Fon V.E. Mukete was declared dead. They will be remembered for their efforts to promote national peace and stability. As the saying goes, to a well-organized mind, death is but the next great adventure. Away from that, Cameroon has received the first consignment of 200,000 doses of Sinopharm coronavirus vaccine donated by the Chinese government. Upon arrival in the country, Public Health Minister Manauda Malachi received his vaccine at the Oka Treatment Center in Yaoundé. Details with Fonquinta.
Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malachi, was today vaccinated against COVID-19 at the Oka Treatment Center in Yaoundé. Minister Manawuda Malachi received his vaccine today after the first 200,000 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine from China arrived Cameroon last night and was received by Prime Minister and Head of Government Dr. Joseph John Gute. During the handing over of the vaccines to Prime Minister John Gute, Chinese Ambassador to Cameroon Wang Yingwu said the donation from the Chinese government is aimed at supporting developing countries fight the pandemic.
Nous pensons que les vaccins de Sinopharm, le vaccin chinois,
the Chinese vaccine Sinopharm will be used in accompanying Cameroon in its fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Today we have concretized the plan of assisting developing countries fight the virus, and in future we will continue working with our partner Cameroon, and together we will combat the pandemic.
Pour convaincre la pandémie de COVID-19.
Shortly after receiving the Sinopharm vaccine, Mr. Malachi told the press it feels good receiving it. The consignment of 200,000 Sinopharm vaccine doses from China arrives Cameroon at a time the country counts 61,731 confirmed cases of COVID-19, of which 3,886 are active cases and 919 fatalities registered.
Limited supply of chickens in our local markets has once again drawn attention of traders and consumers who say they are less satisfied with what they have to deal with. Gladys Bomotongina gathered their opinions and compiled the following.
Des caisses vides, le secteur d'activité triste, c'est la même image observée dans la majorité des marchés à Douala. La vente de poulet au Cameroun a arrêté d'être fructueuse au jour d'aujourd'hui. Raison, absence des parentaux, résultant à l'absence des œufs et par ricochet, de poussins en vue de procéder à leur élevage. Il faudrait noter que cette crise part depuis la période de la grippe aviaire et suit son cours récemment avec la fermeture des frontières due au coronavirus. Une situation grippant ainsi toute la chaîne de consommation du poulet, partant des éleveurs au consommateur final, ayant donc une incidence remarquable sur le coût d'achat.
Les poulets sont très rares maintenant, puisque les vendeuses nous disent qu'il n'y a pas des œufs pour nous donner les poussins. Donc ce poulet que vous voyez là, il coûte 4 000 francs sur le marché. Ce poulet que vous voyez, 4 000 francs.
On est en train de renouveler à cause de la grippe aviaire, de Corona, on n'a pas pu éclore les poussins.
Ceux qui produisent les poussins, il n'y a pas les parentaux, c'est les parentaux qui produisent les œufs. Les parentaux produisent les œufs. Et comme il n'y a pas de parentaux, il n'y a pas des œufs. Ils importaient les œufs, ils ont bloqué l'importation des œufs. Ce qui fait que nous on est là, il n'y a pas les poulets. Il n'y a pas les poulets. Ils nous ont parlé de la grippe aviaire. Nous on ne sait pas. Nous on ne sait pas. Après la grippe aviaire, il n'y a pas les poussins. On parle de corona, on importait même les poussins. Et présentement, il n'y a même pas les poussins. Donc ce qui fait que le panier de la ménagère est en danger. Avec un 5 000, tu ne peux pas consommer. Tu ne peux pas préparer le poulet chez toi.
Par ailleurs, les entrepreneurs de ce secteur d'activité parlent d'un potentiel encouragement d'importation de poulets congelés depuis le Brésil. Une convention qui aurait été signée entre le ministère de l'élevage et les autorités brésiliennes, pouvant ainsi conduire à les éradier définitivement de leur business.
Mais c'est le gouvernement, non, ils ont créé la grippe aviaire. Ils ont éliminé les poulets, parlant de la grippe aviaire. Donc, c'est partant de là qu'il y a eu baisse. On n'a plus les œufs pour couvrir. Donc, les accouvreurs sont aussi en chômage parce qu'il n'y a pas des œufs pour accouvrir. Donc, nous parlons directement, nous parlons comme ça au ministre de l'élevage, au Minépia, que vraiment le bas peuple est en train de mourir. Qu'on est en train de mourir. Que si rien n'est fait, non. Tout le monde va aller que dans la rue. Et avec le congelé qu'ils importent, même jusqu'à dire qu'on veut que le Brésil là, nous on ne veut pas. Nous on ne veut pas les congeler au Cameroun. Qui partent consommer au Brésil, on nous laisse le Cameroun.
Toujours est-il que si rien n'est fait dans les jours à venir, il sera presque impossible de consommer du poulet made in Cameroun.
Inhabitants of Kumba neighborhood in Mabanda Bonaberi Douala Force municipality have expressed discontent over poor electricity supply and some electricity poles abandoned by the power supply company for over a month now. Our reporter Eileen Sama was there and talked to some inhabitants.
The two fallen electric poles, abandoned for a month now by a new electricity supplier in Cameroon, can be easily spotted along the main stretch of road in Kumba, which links the neighborhood to the other parts of Mabanda, as well as Bonaberi to the entire city. According to inhabitants of the area, Enio is responsible for one of the fallen poles, while the other was caused by an ordinary person who came to deposit this ground.
Now the motorway don't come for Benny. Now you don't touch down pool. Now Bosika so you don't fall so. Not be na mistake for Sonel. Men they not talk say that Sonel don't do so. Sonel nobody do run at it. Then put be for there. The put for it beat enough. Now man we don't come to wait. Now you don't. With the bed that's what Sonel say then come. To for back that Sonel. If you kill some man, all quarter don't talk say that you go for now for Sonel down here. Gone. If they keep people, they keep people. But if you don't talk, okay, say they come, they feel say they want cannot come. Now I want this. But quel que soit the thing where don't pass, we debate just so soon. See, they come, they fix up. One for back, not the mistake. G1, not we mistake. Then they come fix up. That's all.
It is worth noting that Enio is currently changing dilapidated poles made of wood into cement poles across the city of Douala, to avoid the risk of any accidents in the future, but could be causing more harm than good if the wooden poles are abandoned with cables still entangled in this nature, irrespective of the people's cry for immediate intervention.
Within a day here where they dissolve the all over. So if people fall, things more than the other one, that's on it where they come to the so they say the following day they will come to Sham, more than 1 month, they no money come. So we don't, they repass any day with the report, no money do any effort, so we don't know what to do. So now only people when I so we have we to make a middle no say this will suffer. So you want it so if you fall on top motor, if you fall on top motor, so you get risk, so now the only thing I think about that.
If you know you want come, you can help me for move that chin for that chin for kill man, that chin for kill for more picking. So this one not busy.
The people of Kumba continue to live in fear and worries over what may happen to just anyone if these poles eventually falls in the middle of the main stretch, while having their hopes high for urgent intervention after a month.
Following an attack perpetrated by bandits on April 2021 on the Manju-Mashishi Road in the Noon Division West region, elements of the Malantwen Gendarmerie Brigade have arrested 5 of the 7 alleged Turks. They were presented to the press recently as Audrey Zatsa tells us.
Ils sont âgés respectivement de 19, 22, 24, 26 et 31 ans. Soupçonnés d'avoir perpétré des attaques sur l'axe Manju-Mashishi le 1er avril dernier dans le département du Noun, région de l'Ouest. Et c'est suite à cette attaque de coupeurs de route perpétrée le 1er avril 2021 que les éléments de la brigade de gendarmerie de Malantwen ont, sur renseignement des plaignants, mis la main sur 5 des 7 présumés malfrats le 5 avril 2021. Ce 5 avril, aux environs de 16 h, 3 de ces présumés coupeurs de route ont été interpellés dans le domicile de l'un d'eux, où 11 téléphones portables et 5 machettes ont également été trouvés puis saisis.
Le 2021, vers 19 h, le commandant de la brigade de gendarmerie de Malantwen a reçu une information faisant état de ce que des individus armés et cagoulés, porteurs des armes et machettes, ont barricadé la route reliant Manjum à Machushi, dans l'arrondissement de Malantwen. Dans l'arrondissement de Malantwen, où ils ont barricadé la route et pris d'assaut les usagers qui étaient de passage. C'est ainsi qu'il s'est immédiatement mis en route. Il s'est ébranlé sur les lieux où malheureusement il n'a pas pu retrouver ses scélérats. Après un ratissage, il y a des douilles de calibre 12 et deux puces de téléphone qui ont été retrouvées sur place.
Le quatrième suspect, âgé de 22 ans, a été interpellé dans le quartier Nkontukot à Malantouen, le même jour aux environs de 21 heures. Le cinquième présumé coupeur de route, âgé de 19 ans, quant à lui, a été interpellé le lendemain aux environs de 11 heures dans la localité de Mangumbu, d'après la gendarmerie nationale. L'exploitation de ces 5 présumés coupeurs de route a permis la saisie de 3 armes de fabrication artisanale et 7 munitions de calibre 12 utilisées par ceux-ci pour commettre leur forfait. À cet effet, une enquête a été ouverte par la compagnie de la gendarmerie de Fumban.
You're watching Prime News on My Media Prime. A seminar organized by the National Coordinator of the DDR Center, Fayengo Francis, took place in Bamenda over the weekend. This was another call for all those still in the bushes to drop down their arms and be reintegrated into the society. The seminar ended with the inauguration of a modern multi-purpose disarmament vocational center in Bamenda to host ex-combatants. Charles Kebwa completes this story.
In an awareness seminar over the weekend in Bamenda organized by the National Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Coordinator to make ex-combatants who are still in the bush confident in the effectiveness of the NDDRC process and to lay down their arms, advantages and risks, and for them to understand the vision of the NDDRC, which is based on forgiveness and reconciliation that goes beyond the combatants by addressing the host and home communities. Speakers at the seminar call on the ex-fighters to above all else recognize the forgiveness of the nation and the outstretched hand of the head of state towards them. Professor Willibrod Nzengwa, an expert in conflict resolution, opines some people are still living in the city with separatist tendency, insist on the population to collaborate as a community, keeping aside their political jackets. DDR National Coordinator Fayengo Francis, while clear doubts raised by some ex-fighters, call on the ex-fighters to be appreciative towards their society.
So we, the communities, we should follow the first citizen of the country to grant love, pardon to these children. So this is the message that we are sending to the community. But we are sending the message also to the ex-fighters that they should acknowledge the fact that they did harm. Some of them were forcefully recruited, but others went there to fight. And we told them that to give assurance to these populations, they should not hit their chest that, because we have the decree of the president, we are above the law. No, they should be humble, they should accept each other, they should tolerate others. I think this is the message we give to the communities.
An multi-purpose disarmament vocational training center was inaugurated to host the ex-fighters.
Important because it is a realization of one of the dreams of this nation that we have a center like this one. This is a center which makes it possible for our young brothers and sisters whom we're trying to reintegrate, to train well and become a great part of the society.
The DDR, since its creation December 2018, with 738 fighters in Boya, Marwa and Bamenda centers, 200 Boko Haram fighters have been returned to their home country, Nigeria.
As part of a corporate social responsibility, KGB, in collaboration with her partners, have donated some immediate needs to over 100 Cameroonian families originating from the northwest and southwest regions of the country affected by the ongoing socio-political crisis. The continuous solitary caravan happening under the strict compliance of all anti-COVID-19 barrier measures donated, amongst other things, food and sanitary items. Darling Gonde completes this story.
Patriotism is a key value of the KGB brand, and solidarity is one of its pillars. It is within this week that the solidarity effort towards the populations of the troubled areas of the northwest, east, far north, and southwest regions of the country cooking oil, spaghetti, cartons of sardines, washing bowls, soft drinks, and lots more. Having met the delights of their family needs, some of the beneficiaries now appreciate the kind gesture with hearts filled with joy.
They have done a wonderful thing because since I came here, I've been struggling frying pop-off before sending these children to school. I'm very, very thankful to them.
Nous tenons à remercier la Fondation Kadi de Fosso et nous avoir permis d'entrer en possession de ces dons. Vraiment, nous disons longue vie à cette fondation, que cette fondation continue dans la même lancée.
There was no way for me. My family is so much that I am unable to feed them. I thank you people.
From the region of the rising sun, the caravan further moved to Yaoundé and then Douala, with over 135 internally displaced families in each of these cities benefiting from the donations. Using the same distribution mechanism, the beneficiaries sincerely thanked the donors for the gifts which are intended to meet up with their immediate needs.
I'm very, very happy today because Kaji and the NGO Refila, they have really assisted us in many ways, the IDPs.
I am a host of 12 IDPs. So what I have seen here today, I don't know, I feel like crying. What the Kaji has done together with the Lufa, I don't even know what to say. Then that God is going to reward them. I'm just so overwhelmed.
I think it's a wonderful gesture to think of these displaced persons. The assistance they are giving to them is going to help some of us that we have been keeping them.
We thank him for a lot for remembering us for IDP that we are suffering about them. So we thank them very well. So what they have done to us, we are very happy.
Life has really been tough and hard, and I really appreciate this because it will help a lot of us, and at least it will reduce down some stress from our parents.
I'm very, very grateful that God should continue bless you people, bless what your people are doing.
The Solidarity Train, which is on its 5th tour, continues to run. Relufa, a partner of this campaign, is satisfied with the progress of the program.
We've been to several other locations, so Douala is like the 5th stop of this Solidarity project. In all these locations, we target 135 households. So if we take 135 per household in Chang, in Suza, in Yaoundé, in Betwa, and here in Douala, and then multiply maybe by 6, you imagine the number of people that we have impacted so far through this project. We can estimate in thousands.
Still during the Solidarity Caravan, the leaders of the Kaji group informed the populations that this support scheme won't just end here, but lasting through trainings in various fields in a bid to promote entrepreneurship and the education of the young. Kaji beer, you mean so much to us.
Let's now join it up a content for sports updates in the French language.
C'est une large victoire du Coton Sport qui a écrasé le club zambien Nabza Star avec 5-0 lors de la 4e journée de la Coupe de la CAF. Le match s'est joué hier, dimanche 11 avril 2021, au stade Rumdiadja de Garoua. Le premier but intervient à la 21e minute par Nguime Arena. Le deuxième à la 35e par Swabou Marou, puis c'est à la 70e minute qu'Arnaud Sibir marque le 3e but. Le 4e but, quant à lui, est la réalisation d'Enzo à la 87e minute. Enfin, Alemi finit le tableau à la 91e minute en inscrivant le 5e but des cotonculteurs. Dans le temps additionnel de la fin de la rencontre, les Camerounais assouplissent leur niveau de jeu et les Zambiens profitent pour marquer le but de l'honneur Padoua Sissoko. Dans le classement du pool B, Coton Sport de Garoua occupe la première place avec 9 points à son actif. Il va recevoir les Algériens de GS Kabylie le 21 avril prochain, toujours au stade Omnisport de Garoua. Parlant des championnats camerounais, en Elite 1, les résultats de la 6e journée sont connus. Dragon 3, Yafoot 1, AS Fortuna 2, Diko FC 1, Bamboutos 1, Union 1, Colombe 2, Yossa 1, Stade Renard de Melon 3, Edin Sport 0, TKC 1, Astre 2, Panthère 1, New Star 0, UMS de Loum 1, APGS Dunfou 0, PWD de Baminda 0, Avion Dunkam 0. Le résultat de Coton contre Canon sera connu le 14 avril 2021 après le match qui a été reporté à cause de l'implication des cotonculteurs dans la Coupe de la CAF. Parlant de l'élite, toujours dans le cadre de la 6e journée, les résultats sont variés. Renaissance 1, Lyon Blessé 1, AS Fab 2, Racine 0, Ngaoundéré FC 2, AS Matelo 1, Fauve Azur 5, Fontia Street 1, of Stade Kribi 0, Stade 0 et Aigle Royal d'Unkonsamba 1, Unisport 0. Les clauses de la rencontre Dynamo et Léopard sont inconnues et aucune raison n'est avancée. Terminons avec les barrages des Jeux Olympiques Tokyo 2021. Les Lions indomptables se sont inclinés devant la Chili avec 1-2 lors du match aller. L'unique but camerounais a été introduit par Njoya Adjara. Malgré la défaite, les joueuses d'Alan Djumfak gardent un espoir de qualification pour le match retour prévu pour demain à Antalya.
Prime News ends here. See you tomorrow at 6:30. God willing, for another edition of Prime News on my Media Prime. My name is Blanche King. Lasha Kinsey coordinated the news, produced by NOLINGA Eli Nolinga. At 7 p.m. Prime Hour will be yours with Kumlunat. Enjoy today's edition of Prime Hour. Happy viewing and good night.